Hi, my name's Jim Pollard. I'm with the Oberon company, and I'm here with Levitt-Safety to provide a care and use training video on Oberon's TCG series arc flash chutes. The TCG series of arc flash chutes is Oberon's premium product. TCG stands for True Color Gray, which represents the lens technology. All of the TCG series arc flash chutes have the black Kevlar outer shell. All of the suits include Nomex thread on all the seams, as well as a heat transfer applied label. The hood features include a hanging loop at the very top. The lens, as you'll see, is the clear gray lens. This is the True Color Gray lens. The lens is installed with snaps, so it's snap installed at the top and the bottom. The lens itself has anti-scratch coating on the outside, as well as an anti-fog coating on the inside. The lens is extremely strong. It's made of polycarbonate for high impact protection, certified for high impact protection. On the inside, we have a Class E certified hard hat. On the back of the hood, we have an optional hood ventilation system, which has an FR hose pulled through a covered porthole, adapted to a fan that is encased within FR plastic itself. There's a strap at the back for hanging to fit the fan. On the front, we have a standard loop, which is meant to hold an LED headlamp, which you see here. The coat features include a deluxe dual-stage closure, which includes a high-temperature plastic called Delrin zipper, a very large tooth zipper, a Nomex Velcro secondary closure. On the arms, we have day-night high-visibility striping. There's an FR knit cuff at the wrists. The collar is a wraparound style. On the inside of the coat, we have extra large openings for the arms. And you'll note this coat has an optional harness port, which is meant for wearing a fall protection harness on the inside of your arc flash chute. On the back of the coat is a protective flap, which covers that harness port, and you would just pull through a D-ring extension at the back. The coat itself has an extra long hip length. The bib overalls have an extension at the front, which is the bib. It covers the chest area for the worker. There's the embroidery that notes the protection level provided by the arc flash chute. The bib overalls have FR suspenders and buckles. The bib has fit features, including a FR cinch strap at the waist. Isn't always necessary, but if you need to tuck in your bibs, that helps. At the ankles, there's another FR cinch strap, again using Nomex Velcro. This purpose for the ankles is to keep the bottom of the pants from going underneath your heel of your boots or your footwear to keep you from tripping. The bibs also have that day-night high visibility striping on the legs. The Oberon label is on the inside as a heat transfer applied label on all the garments. The label itself has the Oberon manufacturer name. It includes the arc rating as a ATPV. It provides what the material is made of, so the fiber content. So this suit is 100% aramid material. It provides the care instructions, so how to launder the suit and how to care for the arc flash chute. There's the conformity statement, as well as the standards that the arc flash chute is in compliance with. At the bottom of the label is an individual identification code tracking system. So Oberon puts a serial number as well as a barcode that references each and every individual product manufactured by Oberon. Only wear an arc flash chute to fit you correctly. There are 8 different sizes, from small up to 5XL as standard sizes. There are custom sizes, which are short, tall, and extra tall. Use a sizing chart or a sizing kit to make your selection. When using a sizing kit, don't wear your street clothing. Make sure that you wear the clothing that you wear every day, such as your arc-rated uniform or your natural fiber clothing that you wear underneath your arc flash chute. It's often that you're going to find a different size bib will fit you better than the coat itself. It's not always going to be the same size for both. When you're selecting your size, make sure that it's not too tight or it's not too baggy. If you're unsure of what size to pick, then round up one size. Make sure when you're wearing your sizing garments, if you're using a sizing kit, that you can move freely. Try doing some exercises, put a knee on the floor. Try and replicate a work task that you'd perform while wearing the arc flash suit. The hoods are easy. They're one size fits all. Inside the hood is a hard hat, and the hard hat has an adjustable suspension. If that hard hat does not fit you, then contact Oberon and we can help you. Workers are required to complete a pre-use inspection of all of their electrical specific PPE tools and equipment, including their arc flash chutes. When inspecting your Oberon arc flash chute, start with one item at a time. I begin with the hood. We want to make sure that the fabric has no damage. If you identify a problem or an issue at any point in your pre-use inspection, do not proceed to use the product until it has been cleaned, repaired, or replaced. When inspecting your arc flash chute hood, check at the lens, make sure there's no excessive scratching, no cracks or other damage. The shield itself is held in by metal snaps. We want to make sure those snaps are closed before you proceed to use the hood. Checking the fabric on the outside as well as the inside for any damage or contamination. On the inside, there is a Class E hard hat. We want to make sure that hard hat is securely in place using the adapters. If these adapters, which are plastic, are broken, you need to replace the adapters before you can proceed to use the hood. The hard hat itself has a suspension, and making sure the suspension is not damaged, making sure the ratchet still works, as an example. The hard hat and hood work together, so they need to perform together to provide protection. On the back of the hood, we have an optional ventilation system. As part of the pre-use inspection, we do a battery check. If the batteries are not operable, we just take the fan off the back. There's a loop on the back that holds the fan in place, and the fan has 4 AA batteries. So replace the batteries if necessary, reinstall the fan, and connect it to this hose. The shield on the outside has an anti-scratch coating. Now it's not indestructible, so we want to make sure there's no excessive scratching on the shield. If there are fingerprints, you can exhale on the outside surface to create some moisture, and you can clean those fingerprints so that way you can see clearly. On the inside of the Oberon hood, there's an anti-fog coating that requires activation before use. The activation, the properties themselves require humidity for that to work. So you pull the inside of the hood close and exhale all over the inside surface of the lens to activate the anti-fog. Now in extreme conditions, use the ventilation system, which will draw fresh air from the outside of the hood inside. This system delivers the air to your breathing zone, which has another benefit of actually bringing the air down the inside of the lens. So together with the anti-fog as well as the external air circulating to your breathing zone, we should eliminate any of the fogging issues. As we continue with our pre-use inspection, we move on, make sure that the lamp works on the hood. There's a battery inside the lamp as well that might need replacing. Once we know that the hood's good, we go to the next spot, which is going to be the coat. Check the coat, make sure that the zipper isn't broken. There's this Delrin high temperature plastic zipper with very large teeth. Make sure that nothing is broken or damaged. If there is any damage, you want to make sure that it's repaired before you go and continue to use the arc flash chute. Again, checking the fabric for any holes, contamination. Check the inside as well as the outside. Essentially, we're just looking for anything that could compromise your safety while wearing the arc flash chute or inhibit you from being productive and reduce your human performance. When inspecting the bib overalls, we want to actually open up all these fit adjustments, which are the FR straps. And this allows us to slide into the bib overalls much easier. Inspecting the fabric on the inside and the out. Undoing these cinch straps so that way we can fit our feet through the bottom of the bib overalls. Checking the suspenders on the top of the bib overall for any damage. Making sure the buckles still work. A tip for you when you're wearing or putting on an Oberon arc flash suit is to actually keep the buckles done up. So that way when you go to slide this on, you're not having to reach over your shoulder and pull the buckle over top, which is quite difficult. So when you actually put the bibs on, you can hold them open and then start to slide your feet through. Once you've completed your previous inspection, it's then time to make sure that you're ready to wear the arc flash suit. The standards require that you wear natural fiber clothing underneath your suit or your arc-rated clothing. I have on my arc-rated coveralls. I'm ready to go. What's really important to remember is not to ever wear meltable materials. So fabrics that are made of meltable or synthetic fibers, that's the rule of thumb when you're wearing an arc flash suit. When you're ready to wear the suit, make sure you have on your fall protection harness, your cooling vest, anything that is on underneath the suit is part of the preparation before you start to wear the arc flash suit. Before you begin to put on the bib overalls, make sure you have somewhere you could sit down or rest your back up against a wall, take your weight off of your legs. The first step to donning your arc flash suit is with the bib overalls. Once you are comfortable and your weight is off of your legs, hold open your bib overalls, push your feet through. If you have big footwear, you'll need to remove that to complete this step. Otherwise, point your toes to the bottom of the legs and push each leg through. Pull up the bib overalls over top of your clothing by pulling up the suspenders over your shoulders with the buckles closed. Once in place, adjust the suspenders if necessary for the best fit. Next, you want to adjust the straps. These are the FR cinch straps. The one at your waist is not necessary, so don't be alarmed if it won't close. The straps at your ankles should always be closed to keep the bottom of the legs from sliding down under your footwear. Next, we're going to put on the arc flash suit coat. Make sure the zipper is open, then pull it on each arm, one at a time. Then completely close the zipper and placard. I run my hand down the outside to make sure that it's completely sealed. At this point, do a quick check to make sure the coat and bibs fit comfortably. Your suit should have been selected based on your size. The FR knit cuffs should fit to your wrists. The pant leg bottoms should be long enough to completely cover your legs down to the top of your feet. If the suit doesn't fit right, do not proceed to wear it. You're only as well protected as your lowest point exposed to an arc flash. If you have visible gaps or clothing that shows, you must adjust the fit or try another suit size. When going to wear the arc flash suit hood, make sure you have on your hearing protection and your safety glasses. Selection is required and determined based on your risk assessment. Pick up the hood and turn it around so you can see the inside. Reach in and open the hard hat suspension by adjusting the ratchet so it's larger than your head. When you go to put the hood on, you'll need to reach up inside the back of the hood and adjust the ratchet suspension so it fits snug on your head. The hood is worn with the lens facing forward so you can see. Either before or after putting on the hood, you can turn on your hood ventilation system and LED headlamp. After the hood is on, you should pull the bottom of the fabric to make sure it's lying flat and not bunched up. For the hood to provide the intended protection, it must be on correctly with sufficient overlap on top of your coat. After you've completed your work task and you no longer need to use your arc flash suit, it's important to store it correctly between uses. Oberon recommends using a storage bag. The hood should be placed in the bag first. Make sure the ventilation system fan and LED is turned off. If necessary, remove one of the batteries to prevent accidental battery drain if that switch turned on by mistake. Fold the lower flap over the shield window to protect it from damage. Then put the hood away. Next will be the coat. folding this neatly and placing it inside of the storage bag. Then the bib overalls, again, folding these neatly and placing them inside of your storage bag. It's important not to scrunch this up into a ball and shove it into your bag. We want to care for this properly. Oberon arc flash chutes are highly engineered and require special instructions for cleaning and repairs. Essentially, you want to keep your arc flash chute clean and dry. If you identify that it's contaminated with hydrocarbons or other materials that burn, you need to wash the materials before you can proceed to use the arc flash chute. If you identify that there's any repairs needed, you can't just sew this yourself. These highly engineered fabrics are multi-layer, and you must send the product back to the Oberon company for repairs. Oberon can replace a panel section of the arc flash chute or make the proper repairs so the suit remains compliant. If the arc flash chute is wet, that reduces your protection significantly. On the hood, we want to make sure we're using a mild soap and water to clean the lens. You should never use a detergent or a chemical, such as Windex, on the inside surface. Don't use an anti-fog coating or some type of a treatment. It already has anti-fog on the inside of the lens. We don't want those to counterbalance each other. Follow the label for the instructions for how to care for your arc flash chute, including the cleaning and repairs. To disassemble your Oberon arc flash chute hood, begin removing the components. Here goes the LED headlamp, which is an optional part. The strap is standard. The lamp is optional. Remove the fan from the back, again an optional component as an accessory. Just pulls out of there. On the inside, we have the hard hat, which is clicked in using these hard hat adapters. The hard hat adapters push out on each side. Some of these adapters are harder than others to get out. You could actually use a part of the adapter to push that out further. So I'm going to unscrew this nut off of the bolts, and this nut I'm going to use just to push the adapter out further. So then it's free. I'm being mindful not to scratch the inside of the shield with the front brim of the hard hat as I'm moving the parts around. Now the hard hat is out. We're going to continue with removing the adapters. These are the adapters that were holding the hard hat in place. They just pull out. We have a rubber washer. We have the shield stop, which is an angle part. There's the threaded bolt and the finger adapters. Remove that from both sides. And just keep them aside in one place. You don't lose them for when you need to reassemble the hood. At this point, I'm going to remove this ventilation system. And the inside of every Oberon hood is a half zipper, and that's where this component is installed. The zipper runs the entire length around the inside of the hood. And I'm going to pull this hose out from the inside, pulling it through, placing it aside. The last part is to remove the shield, which I like to do inside out, placing the hood so that way the bottom is facing me. I start at the top, so I just pull the fabric around the top of the shield to free this part. There are snaps that are holding the lens inside. Unsnap those. And then there's a snap at the bottom. We unsnap that. We then put the shield aside. And we now have a fully disassembled Oberon arc flash suit hood. To reassemble the Oberon TCG series arc flash suit hood, we're going to start with the lens and the shell of the fabric itself. We're going to turn the shell inside out. making this much easier for us. Have the hood so the bottom is in front of you, and then this pocket is where we're going to put the lens. We just snap the first one in place. We then put the bottom of the shell, or the shield, into the fabric shell. At the top, we just pull the fabric over. There's actually a slit on the inside, which is where you pull this portion of the shield through. Do that on both sides. And then at the very top, there's snaps. We want to make sure that this is secure in place. We connect the snaps from the hood shell to the shield. We can then turn the hood back around. So the black is the outside and the yellow is on the inside. On the inside of the hood, Oberon has a half zipper that runs the entire width around. We're going to use that zipper to install an optional hood ventilation system. At the back of the hood, there's a flap that runs top to bottom and a corresponding porthole on the very outside. So at this point, we're going to push the FR hose through from the top down. And then we can use the back to find that coupling and to continue to pull it through. Still on the inside, we're going to find the zipper and connect them together. We need to completely zip in the hood ventilation system. Just pull that all the way around. Until we reach the very end. We can then, still working from the inside, we can connect our adapters that will then allow us to install the hard hat. We want to make sure that we look at the adapters and find where it says left or right. This is our right-hand side, which will click on the right-hand side. And this is our left-hand side. Shield stops, or these angle pieces, they actually go onto the inside of the lens. At this point here, and then this part of the adapter will sit like this. We take our threaded bolt, we push it through until it's firmly in place, and then we take our rubber washer, push that onto the threaded bolt. We use our black nut to screw this down into place. We don't want to over tighten this. We just want it to be nice and firm and snug. If it's too tight, it's going to make your job to disassemble this much harder. So there's one side, and then we can repeat that process on the other side. Again, shield stop goes on the inside. If you look at the finger adapter, this bolt will seat in the hexagon shape here. We turn it around. Again, always on the inside, not on the outside. On the outside, we use the rubber washer, and then we use our nut to screw onto the bolt. You don't need any tools for this process. You should be able to use your hands and get a nice snug fit. At this point, we're going to just make some space inside of the hood so we can install a hard hat. Make sure the adapters fit the hard hat. You're not changing the hard hat because if the adapters don't fit, they will break. If your adapters break during this process, you should have replacements available. We line up each of these parts. Again, careful not to scratch the inside of our lens with the front brim of our hard hat. We just feel this part. It clicks into place. It's now locked in and secure. We're going to open up the suspension so it's easier to put onto our heads. At the back, we're going to install the ventilation system. We slide that fan unit into the strap. We then connect the coupling, just a little turn to get that locked into place. Don't over tighten it, otherwise you can break your little plastic parts. On the front, we have an accessory option, which is an LED headlamp. Depending if you want the button up or down is how you'd put this on.